Hello everyone. We have with us Dr. Ullas Kolthur, Professor at Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Director BRIC Center for DNA Fingerprinting and Diagnostics, and Coordinator of Advanced Research Unit on Metabolism Development and Aging. A very warm welcome to you, sir, to Treat DM 2025. Thank you for joining us. So, to start with, could you share what motivated you to focus your research on uncovering molecular mechanisms underlying metabolic disorders and their translation into clinical applications?
Okay, so it's both coincidental, serendipitous, but also deliberate attempt to arrive at this particular juncture. I started my career as a molecular biologist, understanding the importance of epigenetics, and from there led to ask questions on mitochondria and mitochondrial energetics and metabolism. And somewhere down the line, we also started working a lot on insulin signaling, because ultimately everything that we understand about how cells communicate with each other has to involve neuroendocrine pathways. So having done a lot of work in basic biology, we realized that there's a huge gap between what we understand at mechanistic level using mouse or cell line models and what really happens in the real life setting at a public health level or at clinical settings. So therefore, I thought it's most prudent or apt for a biologist to take a dip into the clinical world. And while clinical definitions of a disease are largely symptomatic definitions, molecular definitions are important for us to ask about biomarkers and identify potential novel therapeutics.
Definitely so. So, recognizing that effective therapies require interdisciplinary inputs. So, how do you think collaborations across basic sciences with clinicians and technology could accelerate the progress in the field?
Yeah. So actually, I'm really glad to note that there are several efforts around the country which are almost concurrently looking at how to bring basic biologists and clinicians together. Treat DM is, for example, one such platform. I'm really glad to be part of this. But I'll just give this example of ARUMDA, where we started this as a country's first research center dedicated to work on metabolic disease and aging. The main motivation here is actually to bring together clinicians and basic biologists on a scale that has not happened earlier. A lot of basic biologists collaborate with individual clinicians, and these collaborations have been limited to two PIs coming together and asking very focused questions.
Sure.
But often that misses the larger problem of population diversity, genetic diversity, and dietary diversity that exists in the country. So we needed a platform that could ask questions on a scale that has not been attempted in India. And therefore, ARUMDA was born in a way to make sure that we bring basic biologists, clinicians, and public health experts. Here again, the motivation is slightly different. It's not a biologist to define what the problem that should be tackled, because although I'm a biologist, I will probably make a slightly controversial statement that biologists understand biology, but they don't understand real life problems. It's better for the clinicians and the public health experts to define the problem, and the biologists go and find the solutions. Doing the other way around actually might lead to solutions that may not have real life value.
Understood, sir. So, following on that, so you said ARUMDA also aims to bring in collaboration. So, what are the hurdles you faced during this process while bringing up collaborations and trying to build a community as such?
Yeah, so that's a very important and interesting question. It's not easy to make two people collaborate with each other, two basic biologists or two clinicians. But now we have brought together 40 centers across the country, from CMC Vellore, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, St. John's, and many other organizations, and many other IITs, ICERs, IASC. I think the mood in the country is changing. I think I'm really glad to see several young PIs recognizing the fact that while individual driven science is important for progressing and making a mark for oneself, there is a larger need to make sure that we all come together and tackle problems which are beyond the capacity of one particular lab or one particular institution. Of course, it takes a lot of work to convince them and to talk in languages that they understand. And I guess once you crack that code, it's easy to convince people to come and join you. And the most important point about how you can motivate people to come and join you is you should never make it about yourself. People should not think that you're driving your science and you're asking for collaboration. You make each one of them the champion of whatever such large consortia do, and you only provide supporting help, which means everybody has a stake. There's no insecurity amongst anyone.
Amazing, sir. Thank you so much. So lastly, what advice would you offer to young scientists and clinicians who aim to bridge fundamental discoveries with interdisciplinary science and practical therapies in metabolic disease research?
Yeah. So I'm really keen to actually convey this message. I think the way biology was done and thought to be done 5 years ago has rapidly changed. This generation will see even more change in terms of how technology will drive biology. So obviously, it will become more and more easy for people to access technology and do things. However, it will also create a problem of too much data, too little analysis. So one area where youngsters, whether it's a clinician or a basic biologist or somebody in between, has to think about is how to make sense of data. The second thing is you should be able to bridge research at clinical and basic biology level with what happens at public health settings. So I strongly encourage younger colleagues to go and spend time in public health centers, primary healthcare centers, because then you really realize what the scale and scope of the problem is, and then you'll be able to do much better decision about what kind of hypothesis to be asked and how to drive research.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Ullas Kolthur, for your precious time and valuable insights.
My pleasure, and good luck to all of you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.